Manchester United have just drawn 1-1 with Burnley at home in the Premier League. I'll be honest, like I have 4 words. This is our level. People are probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about? But we go into every single game, whether it's against Sheffield United, whether it's against Newport County, whether it's against Coventry, and no one knows whether we're going to win or lose. So as much as I'm upset, I'm disappointed, I'm annoyed, I'm not surprised. If I'm being completely fair, Burnley probably deserve the point. Like, if we're being completely honest, I know it's disappointing. I know, people expect better. Some people think that we should be winning titles. Some people think that, Erik ten Hag is at fault for all of this. But when you look at the team we have, I repeat myself over and over and over again. Some people think it's 100% Erik ten Hag's fault. But when I look at the team that we have from back to front, 90% of the team need to go across the whole squad. 90% of that team need to go. And the fact that we, at home, are level with Burnley, it kind of just sums it up for me. A lot of these players across our squad are probably mid-table Premier League players, right? And if we have aspirations of being in the top 4, of winning things again, we're not going to do that with most of these players. And so, I don't know. I think this season, effectively, Premier League-wise, rise. I can't get my words out today. Premier League-wise is a bit of a write-off, realistically. Obviously, I know we need to get 6th place to get Europa League. We are in 6th place at the moment. We're 1 point ahead of Newcastle. I think we've got a much more difficult run-in than Newcastle, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just have a quick look at the fixtures. I know we play Newcastle in a couple of weeks. That game's going to have massive importance. So Newcastle have got Burnley away, which is difficult. Burnley haven't lost a game in 7, now 8. They've got Brighton. Then they've got us at home. Then they've got Brentford away, and then they've got Tottenham. So Newcastle have got a very difficult last few games, but then so do we. Manchester United's next 4 games are Crystal Palace away, which is going to be difficult. Then you've got Arsenal at home, which is going to be difficult. Then we've got Newcastle at home, which is going to be difficult, and then Brighton away. We could easily lose the next 4 games, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. I don't know. We've got to somehow salvage 6th place, but whether or not that will be possible or not, I don't know. The fact that you've got Casemiro playing at centre-back, you've got Harry Maguire, who most people don't want in this club, playing at centre-back. You've got Diogo Dalot and Wan-Bissaka as your 2 full-backs. One of them definitely needs to go. You've got a midfield of Eriksen and Mainu. Eriksen needs to go. Mainu is obviously going to be a player for the future, but he shouldn't be playing every single game. He should be getting minutes, but I don't think we can 100% rely on Mainu for every single game. A club of Manchester United's size and with the expectations that some of this fan base have, Mainu can't do that every single game for us at the age of 18. That's just not realistic. Same with Garnacho. I think Garnacho's a really, really talented player, but, would he be starting every single game for a Real Madrid or for a Barcelona? Probably not. Would he be starting every single game for a Liverpool or a Man City? Probably not. Or an Arsenal? Our squad just isn't there. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Some people are saying I'm seething. David says, this is our level, well said. Yeah, it is. Then you've got Malp saying, get this manager out. I don't really understand how you can blame that on the manager. Did the manager decide to punch the player in the head and give away a penalty? I don't think so. Did the manager decide that his whole defence should be injured? I don't think so. I just think it's a little bit unfair to be like, this is the manager's fault. Everything's the manager's fault. It's just an easy way. Why are we not looking at the players and the Glazers and the recruitment and the people who've given these players new contracts? Vin says, do you think the handball was a penalty? I mean, if that was against Manchester United, it would have been a penalty, 100%. We got a penalty against us in the Coventry game for a very similar foul. So, I don't know. It's very, very difficult. What's going to happen? I'll be honest with you guys. After watching the game today, I'm struggling to see how Erik ten Hag's going to keep his job. He's not going to get sacked now. Of course he's not. But as I said, we're probably not going to win any of the next 4 games. And that's not me being negative. It's me being realistic. We've just come up against Sheffield United, Coventry and Burnley. One of them's a mid-table championship team and the other 2 are about to be relegated. And we've pretty much met our match. We could have easily lost any of those games. We could have lost against Sheffield United. Some might say we should have lost against Coventry. Maybe they deserve to win more than us. And, the same today. We could have easily lost today's game. Like the XG for today's game was 1.87 for Burnley and 1.92 for Manchester United. Burnley had more possession than us. It was an equal game. Either of the teams today could have won. And the point I'm trying to make here is that we could easily not win any of our next 4 fixtures. Crystal Palace away, we lost to them at home. At Arsenal, they want to win the title. Arsenal compared to Burnley is like a whole different level. Newcastle just beat Sheffield United 5-1. Like they're in good form. And then Brighton on the last day of the season, like Brighton will probably beat us. So I don't know. I want Erik ten Hag to stay personally, but after seeing games like this and the Sheffield United game and the Coventry game, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know whether, Ineos have already selected a new manager. For me, Erik ten Hag should keep his job. I think it would be ridiculous to sack him. There's no one else out there available. De Zerbi, I don't think is that good. Thomas Tuchel, I don't really want at the club, and I wouldn't be surprised if he stays at Bayern. Like, there isn't really any other options out there. So, for all the people who want Erik ten Hag to be sacked, who do you want to come in? I mean, if Zinedine Zidane's going to come in and we're going to have a £500 million budget and 90% of the squad are going to come, then of course I take that option, but it's not realistic. The summer will come around. We'll probably have a budget of around 100 million and we'll be told that we have to keep Rashford, Maguire, McTominay. Like all of these people will probably stay and we'll be sat here in 6 months' time having the same conversation. So unless there's an actual... I mean, look at Liverpool, for example, yeah? Liverpool have... Jurgen Klopp's left Liverpool, right? Jurgen Klopp's left Liverpool and they've just gone and got the manager from Feyenoord. Like that just shows the availability of managers at the moment. And people will say, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like there isn't that many good managers out there. There really isn't. And the fact that Liverpool have had to go and get the Feyenoord manager, like no offense to him, but he's not got the same profile as what Erik ten Hag has. He's only won 2 trophies in his whole career. And he's been a manager for quite some time. He's been at quite a few clubs, AZ Alkmaar, other places as well. And he's only ever won 2 trophies. So the point I'm trying to make here is that Erik ten Hag was a more accomplished manager when he came to Manchester United, right? Liverpool need a new manager and they've just had to go and get arguably a worse version of Erik ten Hag from the Dutch league, who's had way less success. So I don't know. It's really, really difficult to see where we're going to go from here. As the headline, as the subject of the video says, this is our level. People will say, ha ha, rival fans laugh at you. Like, I don't feel the pain anymore because I just expect to go out and not win games anymore, which is sad. It's a sad feeling to have. I want to watch Manchester United and feel confident that we can beat anybody, but I'm not, and it would be naive of me to be confident that we're going to beat anybody. So let's see what people are saying in the comment section, though. Christoph says, it really is our level. We can't beat a relegated club. Yeah, it's true, mate. Somebody says Ten Hag's substitutions are crap. I disagree with you, actually, to be honest, with his substitutions. I think Rasmus Højlund didn't do anything today. I'm going to be clear. Rasmus Højlund didn't really offer us anything. So Ahmad coming onto the pitch for Højlund, I think that was a good sub. McTominay for Mainu is questionable, but I don't know. McTominay does come in and pitch in goals in the last couple of minutes. If McTominay had scored a goal like he has done 7 times in the Premier League this season and we'd won that match, everyone would be sat here saying, what a great substitution. So it's not like we've got a whole bench of world-class players sat there waiting and Erik ten Hag's not brought them on. It's half the bench is youth players and the rest of them are like Amrabat. Do you know what I mean? I think blaming Erik ten Hag's substitutions for us not winning is, again, a little bit of an easy option out of this because we really don't have many options there. And as I just said, I like Højlund, but he didn't do anything at all today. I'm sorry. He offered nothing. And that's not me being harsh. I know he's young. I know we should have another striker. I know the Glazers should have bought another striker. Whatever. There's all these different reasons. It's not Højlund's fault, but he didn't do anything today. He didn't warrant staying on the pitch for any longer. And everyone's screaming for Ahmad to come on the pitch. Anthony probably had one of his best games in a Man United shirt today. Garnacho was decent. To bring off either of them for Ahmad would have been stupid, I think. So I actually think the Ahmad for Højlund substitution was good. Mainly for McTominay, I would say is maybe questionable, but at the same time, you have to remember that McTominay does pitch in with last-minute goals. So, I don't know. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. JC says, I don't see us winning another game this season. I agree, mate. I agree. the next 4 games are going to be way more difficult than our last few games. So, and the thing is, right, you'll see some people like screaming, effing and ahhing and all the rest of it, but we haven't won a Premier League in over 10 years, right? We've won 1 trophy in the last 6 years, and that was the League Cup. Like, what do people really expect from this team these days? We're not Man City. I'm sorry. Legacy-wise, we are way more brilliant than Man City. Man City are just a club that have maybe cheated to get to where they are, right? Legacy-wise, we're a beautiful club with this rich history, and, you know, it's beautiful. The Manchester United story, the Busby Babes, everything, it's beautiful. But in recent history over the last 10 years, we're not a successful team. And I don't see how it's going to change, really. I just think this is our level. Like, if we were to win the Premier League next season, say, that would be like the biggest shock, I think. People would be like, what the hell has happened here? How have we done that? How have we gone from a team who can't beat Burnley, barely beat Sheffield United, lose at home to Palace, lose at home to loads of other teams, lose at home to Bournemouth? Like, we're so far away. Yeah, I don't know. I think that we've just got to be realistic. And I know it's disappointing. I know, you know, the way I see it, people spend money to go to the games. People buy the shirts. People take up moments of their life to watch Manchester United. You know, you take up your Saturday to sit through this. And I get it. It's frustrating. It's disappointing. But I think, obviously, I'm not telling you how to live your lives, but I still find it disappointing, right? But I've just kind of grown to accept it now, because this isn't an Erik ten Hag problem, okay? This was the same under Mourinho, same under Ragnick, same under Ollie, same under Van Gaal, same under David Moyes. So it's not like we've had this amazing success 2 years ago. Erik ten Hag's come in and suddenly we're shit. Like, that's not what's happened. We've been terrible for the last 10 years. And there's been moments where we've looked a bit better and then we look terrible again. There's been moments where I don't know. And yeah. Leon says this is all about the coaching. So you honestly think that if Pep Guardiola came into this Man United side, he would do better with the team that started today? The biggest example of where you're wrong here, my friend, right? Liverpool last season, they lost Van Dijk, okay? And all of the pundits said, oh, write off Liverpool's season. No, they're not going to win the league. They're not going to get in top 4 because Van Dijk's injured. They lost one player and they finished 5th with 67 points. Right? Arsenal last season were 10 points ahead? Everyone's saying they're the greatest team in the world. They lose one defender, Saliba, and they bottle the Premier League. Like, you just have to anybody who's having this argument, just go and look at the team that started today and honestly tell me, put your hand on your heart, do you honestly think, I mean, this is going to be dramatic, but do you honestly think that 150% any of those players who started today are good enough to be part of a Manchester United side, quote unquote, like, you know, the 90s Manchester United side, the team that won the treble? Do you honestly think any of those players would get in one of those teams? They wouldn't. Like, maybe Bruno Fernandes. Højlund wouldn't. Garnacho wouldn't at the age of 18. He's not Ronaldo. He's not on that level yet. Antony definitely wouldn't. Wan-Bissaka wouldn't. Casemiro definitely wouldn't at centre-back. You're telling me that Casemiro would bench Vidic or bench Rio Ferdinand? You're telling me that Harry Maguire would bench Vidic or Ferdinand? No. You're telling me that Dalot would bench Gary Neville? Clearly not. Like, the whole team needs completely starting from the beginning. And I think until that happens, this is just our reality. And what I'm saying here, guys, is I'm not saying I don't like Mainoo. I love Mainoo. He's a good player. But we can't be saying that Kobe Mainoo's going to win us the Premier League immediately. He's 18. It's his first season. And to have that level of expectation on these youngsters, Garnacho, Mainoo, is just unrealistic. Tony says there's still no side of play, Kieran. Regardless of what players are fit, we can't control games. I've been Erik ten Hag in, but today's ridiculous. I mean, the style of play is possession-based football, mate. And we did see that against Sheffield United. And we did see that for elements today. It's possession-based football. It's slow. It's pragmatic. It's not going to be fast and fluid. It's slow build-up. Like, that's what Erik ten Hag was known for at Ajax. You know, more possession-based, 60, 70% possession. And it's a lot more difficult to do that in the Premier League, you know? What else have we got? Red Devil TV says, let me repeat this for you. Ten Hag has a power to veto the signings the club wanted. Yeah, not anymore though, mate. He's not going to have that power anymore. Leon says the performances are nothing to do with the Glazers. I mean, of course they're to do with the Glazers, because the Glazers encouraged this mentality, this weak mentality that's been breeding for the last 10 years. The Glazers, you know, with the players that we have at our disposal, put us in this position. Like, just think about it logically. The same as any business. Like, the business all looks back to the owners. The lack of recruitment, the lack of director of football, etc., etc., etc. Now, I'm not saying that Onana gave away a penalty because of the Glazers. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying bigger picture. You have to look at it all. Maybe I'm wrong, but obviously it's up to you. What else have we got? I can't see what else we got. Somebody says Erik ten Hag should just leave to avoid more embarrassment. I personally don't think Erik ten Hag will be the manager next season. I would still like to give him one more year, but I would be absolutely shocked if Erik ten Hag is still here next year, to be honest, because if you're Jim Ratcliffe and you've come in and you're making all of these big decisions and you're trying to cause upheaval, like, Erik ten Hag probably isn't. A new manager is an easier way forward, you know? Who the replacement's going to be, I've got absolutely no idea, to be honest with you guys. I reckon it'll be someone we're not expecting. And it'll probably be someone that none of us want, realistically. It's not going to be Zidane. I would take Zidane. I've said that to you guys before. If Zidane was a genuine option, I would take him, but I don't think he is. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I'm going to go and try and enjoy the rest of my Saturday. When's our next game then? When's the next game of boredom and pain? Let's have a look. Our next game... our next game isn't for a while, actually. So all of next weekend, guys, the bank holiday weekend here in the UK, your weekend will not be ruined. So do not worry. The next Manchester United game is on Monday. So we've got about 8 or 9 days until the next Manchester United game. So go and enjoy the rest of your weekends. Enjoy your week. Try and put it out of your head. I'll leave these 4 words with you before we go. This is our level. Just like... the sooner you guys accept that, I know it's frustrating. I know a lot of you probably were alive in the 90s and saw all the glory years, but we haven't been that team since Sir Alex Ferguson left, so for 10 years. And this is our level. So anyway, I'm going to go now. Have a great evening, everybody. Speak to you all a bit later. Thank you very much.